Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to the Gears of War Pro League. I'm Blaze, and this is Colin, and we have been bringing you guys the action so far throughout the night. We saw, two fun series to kick off the day, but we have two more fun series to show you guys, and they may even be a little bit more than fun. I'm actually getting really ecstatic and excited thinking about it, And so, without further ado, our next one coming up is going to be Rebel versus Purified. All right. Now, Colin, both these squads have a new look. It's going to be summons out for Rebel, and they're going to get Xploidz on their squad. On the flip end, for this Purified team, they're kind of a mixture between some Elevate players and also Toti from the previous Noble squad.
Yeah, Purified, they're going to be led by Toti. Toti's still hanging out, on the LATAM side of things, trying to help really build up a championship caliber team. He's going to be joined by Addvers, Kardia, and Gary. The big surprise for me with this team is the fact that they're going to keep Kardia and Gary together when Gary and Kardia became a liability during the major and execution. Maybe Toti is the thing that turns them around, but those two guys struggled in those maps 2 and 4 when they had those best of 5 series and those executions. Addvers, he's played extraordinarily well for many, many months now. Even when he was on that Elevate squad, he played very well. I need Toti to kind of step up and be not just a leader, but also kind of I'm trying to think of the best word to use. Almost like a
hybrid player?
No, a mentor. He's got to be able to sculpt these guys,
Yeah.
He's got to be like, look, you can't just push the first second you get it down in execution, which is the problem that Gary had during the major, because he ended up giving up more first shot kills than he was getting because he was chasing after those downs. I need Toti to not just be a leader on this team, but a sculptor on this team. He's got to take the raw talent that he's got around him and yet again try to make another championship caliber team, just like he did a lot with Noble when it came to a guy like Dyslexic, who at one time was in the same, category as a Gary. Dyslexic kind of molded into that better player where he lancered more, he set up more, he was able to be more patient under the tutelage of a guy like Toti. Now he's over there on E United with 3 amazing players. I need to see him do kind of the same thing with the guys he's got around him now.
Yeah, and you know what? This squad of Purify can kind of be reminiscent of one of those old Noble teams with great team fire, right? And the reason why I say that is because I think Addvers, Kardia, and Toti, they all have a lot of similar characteristics. They know when to make the right play and to stay alive and to be there for their squad. I'm very curious to see how this team is going to evolve, because Gary really has to force people to play to his play style and make plays for this team, because he's going to have support from everybody on the squad as long as he's slaying out. But he's got to slay up against this Rebel team, all right? And now let's break down a roster. We're going to have Demons. We got Crack. We got Identivez. And we have Xploidz. This squad on paper is really, really scary. But, if there's one thing that I noticed last night, this team ain't got one too many snipers, all right? One too many superstar players on their team. But with that, Colin, they know one thing. They also know what a superstar needs from the back lines to support, right? What type of plays and what you need to be made. This team can play every single position, but they're going to have to learn how to be selfless and let who's ever hot at the time really take over.
This is one of those situations where you go out and you pick up a guy like Xploidz who can really become kind of a human highlight reel for your squad. And he kind of showed that at times last night. He had flashes of perfection for this squad just last night when they went up against E United. The thing to me that really stood out for this Rebel squad is they threw a lot at E United. They threw a lot of little strats at them, whether it be an execution or escalation. They showed their hand a lot of times. And when you do things like that, not just on the first night of Pro League, but in the first week, it's hard to do it against those same teams. Hard to do it against smart teams. Tonight, I think they might get away with it a little bit more because Purified, I think, is still trying to figure out exactly who they are. And right now, I think Rebel just has a little bit more talent on their squad than Purified does. So it's probably going to be a little bit of a headbutt fest. They're going to have a lot of just drag out, knockdown, shotgun fights. But I think that what's going to boil down to is just Rebel having a little bit more talent on their side.
And so, and I can see what you're saying on that one, especially based off kind of like the core threes of this squad kind of being elevated and Rebel with, a member from that old Noble squad on both. And so Rebel can definitely kind of have that step forward. I think if Rebel is going to be the aggressive team here, right, and come out here with that confidence, this is going to be a great opportunity for Purified to catch them off guard. Because if Purified kind of plays this more defensive and reactionary to kind of start this series, I think they may get a lot of free plays from Rebel. All right, because when it comes down to Addvers, Toti, and Kardia, they are super composed there. And Kardia, as a player, he knows how to stay alive, okay? And as we kind of break down Kardia's numbers and see what he did here towards the last split here for the squad, you see that, Kardia, he's going to be able to put out some damage for his team. And when it came down to damage per execution, he knows how to hold an angle and make sure that no one has to earn a full 600 points in any of those 1v1 fights that they're fighting.
I think the thing that you've got to take into account for Kardia with this team, you see it right there, 27th and 24th, 10 teams, 4 players a team. You're looking that he's right there kind of in the middle of the pack with 40 professionals last split. Now he's right there at 27 and 24. He's got to pump those numbers up a little bit. Kardia, to me, has to be better in his CQC fights because he's an absolutely incredible support player. No doubt about it. He can put the damage out. He can really help his teammates. But then it seemed like when things got put on his shoulders, when he was in the CQC, when he had the 1v1s to hold on to hills or maintain spawn position, those are when he had his trouble spots. And right now, I hope he worked on that. I hope that's something he grinded a little bit in the offseason, be a little bit smarter in those 1Vs, be a little bit quicker maybe to the punch in those 1Vs, because that can elevate him from those 27, 24 placements up to those teens, those high teens, maybe even up into the 10s if he gets as good as he can possibly be. You can see him in that 10 to 15 spot. That'll be the difference to me if he can be good about those.
Yeah, let's see if he can be good on those. So, what maps will both these squads be playing? We'll see the positioning that Kardia is going to have to get on some of these for him to be able to win those close quarter fights. And looking at this spread, I don't know why this graphic looks so beautiful. I don't know if it's all the blue and the white, whatever it is, but it could be the Canals. It could be the Clocktower, the Regency control, the Speyer control, or the Harbor Escalation. I think this cycle is absolutely stacked. But going from the beginning of it, Speyer control, that's a map that Purified, I think, has to take up against Rebel because they're going to have a hard time on that Clocktower execution, that Regency control, and that Canals against them.
I'm not going to lie to you. I'm glad you started calling out what the maps were. Because when you said that this was looking so good, I said, Blaze pulled his webcam up again.
Why you say that?
Because you know damn well you look good, so I figured you saw yourself and said, "Oh, it looks so good." And I said, Blaze must have pulled his webcam up.
I'm always looking at it in the corner of my screen. You know what I'm saying? my eyes never off it. But regardless of how conceited I am, I tell you one thing, man. Okay, these players cannot be conceited in this series because if you give either one of these squads an inch, they will take them out from you. And these first 2 maps will tell the tale of this tape because these are 2 new squads that got 3-0'd yesterday against E United and the Pioneers. They know this is going to be a must-win matchup, and they're going to be giving it everything in which they have. And with that being said, let's start going into our predictions here and breaking this one down. And Colin, I went first, and I want you to kind of go now on who you think can come out on top of this series and why.
I think if it comes down to just strictly CQC fights, I think the talent on Rebel is going to out-talent Purified. I also really believe that Rebel has an edge in a couple of these maps. You look at the Regency, the M-bar play from a guy like Identivez or Xploidz at any given moment, even Crack. You go to Canals, if it's got to go to a map 5, we brought the snipers back on both bridges. So now you've got an Xploidz, an Identivez, a Crack with a free long shot every single round. I think they have what it takes. Rebel has to bounce back tonight after a lackluster performance against E United. Rebel finds their first win of the Pro League tonight against Purified.
Oh, okay. I like how you broke that one down. Now, for me, looking at that series and how it's stacked up, I can honestly see Purified winning in 5. I can see them taking that. I can actually see them kind of taking the first 2 maps, Rebel coming back, but then Purified kind of closing it off in that final map. But on the flip end, I see Rebel taking it in 4. really. Okay. Maps 4 and 3, those I think they can definitely take it. And the first two maps are going to be a coin flip for me, but they can pull a Pioneers and do 2, 3, and 4 in this series. And kind of with that being said, and me kind of really just thinking hard about this one, I'm gonna go Rebel in this series. All right, I think they'll take it in 4. If we do go map number 5, I do believe Purify can walk away with this one, but we gotta wait till we get to that point. And I'm also saying that with Rebel having 3 amazing snipers on their team, right? Anyone can get some headshots for them and take over that map, but they need not let it get that far in this series. And with that being said, chat, how are you all feeling at home? Is it going to be Rebel? Is it going to be Purified? I called it a grudge match before, but I think after this series, we can call it a new rivalry within the league. And with that being said, I think we're all aligned with Rebel coming out in this series. We'll see if they can get it done. Purified, hey, you're the underdogs in this series. The pressure is on you. What are you going to do with it? We'll find out. Okay, we'll see if they make diamonds or if they're gonna crumble.
I really would love to be able to hear the comms for Rebel at some point, because I almost feel like there has to be kind of like a pause, stop comedy moment where there's a chance that all of a sudden Demon's like, all right, guys, I picked up long shot or M-bar, whichever precision weapon it was, and then like Crack, Identivez, and Xploidz all just stop where they are on the map. Like, which one of us is gonna make it there first for the trade? Who's gonna get the swap?
Who's going to make it? Who's going to do it?
You see, like on the mini map, we all see all 3 of their arrows just kind of about face and just run toward wherever the power weapon was spawning.
And it's going to be like second nature for them every single time, because there's so many players who is used to being that playmaker for the squad and taking control over that weapon. But I will say this is that when you do have a lot of talented players like that, it just comes down to who's in position and having trust in the team. And it really should give the squad more consistency, because everybody knows the role in which they have to play, because throughout all the different rosters they've played on, they kind of been spread out. So we'll see if Rebel can find that synergy in which it seems like they were missing yesterday with them doing too much, and just simplify this series against Purified and stick to their guns and play some good Gears of War at the end of the day.
I also really want to see how this Speyer goes for Purified, because I think that when you talk about simplifying gears, especially at a team 4v4 level on a game type like Control on a map like Speyer, Purified, if they can win the initial and then kind of control that first hill, or at least keep it close on that first hill, those next 2 points, P2 and P3, whether it be in the library or over at that golden globe, those 2 hills very much set up for very simple Gears esports, a very simple Gears control. Lancer players, as they either come through the hallway of the church or they come straight through the opening, coming through the front side, you have a chance to get a lot of that damage out early. Set up one-shots for Gary. Set up one-shots for Kardia if he has to be pushed into that 1v1 situation. You can really make the game very easy. You can simplify the game for your teammates, whereas people don't have to hit 2 shots, maybe 3 shots, peppering people up to get them to go down and then clean the kills up. You can make this simple by putting people in chunkable range very quickly in those P2s and P3s. Purified, they need to win this map 1 to make it a series, but they have the ability to do it because of how simple Speyer can be broken down into.
It truly can be. And when it comes down to the 2 control maps in which we have in our series, they're going to be played similar. And the fact is that you're going to have to really rotate early for a lot of these hills. And you can't be, running into a brick wall most times. If not, you're going to lose those spawns for next and find yourself in a hole. You don't want to be caught with a bad spawn, having to cross through open terrain and get through the Lancers of any of these squads. That's not the position in which you want to be in. So the IGLs are going to have to think ahead of the game in order to come out victorious. So this may come down to, not so much of a shot for shot battle, but who can outstrat and who can outthink and stay ahead of the game when it comes down to the other squad. What player can do that for their team? And with that being said, I lean a lot into Toti. Toti, because he got the players around him. He got smart players who understand what they got to do. As long as he gets those call outs early, I think that Purify can find themselves in some great positions in this early game. But from that point on, if if Rebel starts picking up there towards the mid portion, picking up steam, I think that type of firepower is going to be a lot to overcome when they finally start gelling and meshing. But we'll see how it breaks down. I'm really leaning in favor of Purified in this map number 1, but we'll see what Rebel got to say about that.
I also think that Rebel has a chance, especially because they have the such good CQC ability with guys like Crack Demon, Identivez. I mean, even Xploidz is an incredible shotgun player. They can really take control over that P1, and I would like to see them be smart enough to start rotating across the map, calling out the respawns to try to get in position to set up for the respawns of P2. We talked about it on Regency. We talked about it on a district. You can do the same thing on Speyer. If you win that initial fight over that first hill that's inside of the church, inside of the steeple, you can push across the map over toward the library to allow your respawns to be closer to P2 just in case things go wrong during a retake.
Yeah, and you know, if they go wrong, you want the best position in which you can possibly get. So, you know, and when those plays happen, we'll be here to break it down for you guys real time. All right, that's what me and Colin is here for. Okay, we know you guys just love hearing our voices all day and all night as we're breaking down these teams and breaking down these maps, but. Don't worry, we'll be into the game soon. And I want us to take the time to say, I hope you guys are having a fantastic time here. I've seen you all in the chat throughout the day. Want to send you some love. If you're enjoying the day, give me a nice little 1 in the chat so me and Colin can feel your energy. We're about to load up into map number 1, Speyer. It's Rebel versus Purified, you guys. And it's going to be one in which you don't want to miss out on. I said it before the break. We got 8 players who are absolutely the truth. No fakes in this lobby. And you guys will be able to hear us call to action on our beautiful blue microphones, the official mic partner of Gears Esports. Make sure you go ahead, check them out at bluemic.com. And with that being said, Colin, let's hop into map number 1.
And as we roll out of spawn on Speyer, we know that top middle steeple is the point of interest. We know that everybody's going to be flying up to the stairwells, trying their best to get into a spot to make life easy for those initial fights. Look at the way that Toti is right behind Gary. They are the tip of the spear for their squad, coming up these stairwells. Identivez and Xploidz entering into that hill already. And you can see the down, already 1 down coming through, but great little rotation by Toti, trying to get that body shot, but I mean, just absolutely too strong. Purified might have a reason. Push me, man. There's a chance. Something might have gone wrong.
Yeah, definitely a chance. The way
maybe Addvers just gave up. I don't know.
Nah, Addvers, that ain't the type of player he is. He gonna fight to the end of the rounds. But luckily for us, this is seeming like it's going to be a possible just, you know, quick restart here on the board. And because we still got all our players in our lobby. I see movement across the board. We'll get this one sorted out for you guys at home real soon. But, you know, off that initial, it was a win there for the boys of Rebel. So actually, no, it wasn't Rebel. It was a win there for the team of Purified to get that one kicked off. But they got to do it again.
Sometimes you gotta be good enough to do something twice.
Can they?
And
we'll find out soon.
Yeah, we'll figure out exactly what's going on and get that word over to you as soon as possible, because we do have just the stalemate.
All right. It looks like an official start as we got all 4 players coming out the respawn, and we'll get a chance to see this initial once again. And it was Rebel who won the initial before. We saw Toti and Gary having to go up against Xploidz and Identivez. Double flashes to start. Both players stunned. And it will be the same first blood coming out once again on Gary, as Toti's going to hold his ground this time, not move in just yet. But he is going to be the focus of attention. Addvers left by his lonesome once again, the same position, but he's going to fight his way back this time.
Do you want to explain it the way that our beautiful director just explained it, or do you want me to say
It's a straight up restart, baby. Straight up restart, 0-0.
Ladies and gentlemen.
And we got the same initial that we saw once again. Ooh, but Addvers played that. It was Kardia who actually played that spawn really well, just to get that kill down low for the power weapons. Addvers will be able to get that one on his back, but he stays alive. Toti is going to play the inside of that corner. He does get downed out. The cross is there. Demon trying to do something special to clean up this kill. He will be able to get back there towards the squad. 26 seconds left on the hill. Addvers finds a kill with the drop. And here comes Rebel rotating to next like they should. And they got a beautiful spawn too for Addvers. I'm sorry, yeah, no, was it Addvers? No, it wasn't Addvers. They got a beautiful spawn for Crack. Apologies. As he came in, that was player number 2. And that will be the setup for Rebel FP2, but they will be pinched from all sides. This is where Purified has to take their time moving in, and that's what they're going to do. That back A was terrifying from Xploidz. That one was probably even worse from Identivez. This Rebel with a 2-man advantage, and Purified trying to do their best to stay alive, but that's all they can do. They got to contest, but luckily for them, Colin, that fight broke out at the beginning of that hill, and they'll be able to get back in time to contest once again.
Kardia's been marked, and he had no idea Crack was there. I love the sneaky beaver play by Crack, where he slowed down to that just creep walk because he wants to take over the steeple. He wants to be able to put pressure on these players that might be setting up for a set for the tertiary drop shot to be spawned in this map, because we had one in the initial, we had one in the restart, now we've got our third of the possible map. And also, based on how long this setup holds, yeah, 45 seconds still, that top stairwell spawn could come in very much handy because they could easily rotate over the golden glow, but Crack, he's coming back into the fight right now. Big body shots on the Toti with the back A off the back of the truck, but one more big hip fire from the truck gets the down, and Demon, he is just holding the line against multiple members from the side of Purified, and Purified, they've got to get one more set of slays. Kardia is going to be called out in the front of the hill. He's going to be marked up. I'm not sure how much damage was done, but Demon, I mean, he did the whole kit and caboodle with that back A, getting the easy chunk there. Toti, he split the spawn here. Demon picks up the drop shot. It looks like Rebel's already rotated to the golden globe. What a good play and a heads-up play by Rebel.
And it's crazy too, because I was just about to give Addvers and Toti a lot of praise for their overextension and not kind of continuing that fight at P2 and just rotating across church towards next. They got there before Rebel, but they were a little bit indecisive on if they wanted to back up and fight, and they allowed Rebel to come in and break that early rotation that they had, and that's going to keep them behind. And as we look at the kill feed, it's 3 members down on the side of Purified, and Rebel's looking really comfortable in this P3. They're going to spread out towards the spawn, push out their first line of defense as far as they possibly can. A drop shot with a low splash damage, ring around a Rosie. These fights aren't always the best, but when you got an extra Lancer from the side, it makes it that much easier. As Demon looking to hit some solid L triggers, that's going to be 2 down. And now a 4v2 for Rebel to clean up these remaining players. Surely they should be able to get this one. That's 1, that's 2, and that's more time on the board for Rebel as they break the 100-point mark.
And they're going to let Kardia stay on the ground and bleed him out for as long as humanly possible. They're trying to get set up here. The frag grenades are going to be up in less than 10 seconds. 3 players in the area. Identivez will get that little angular shot right there just to try to keep people body checked to come in and not give them the easy back A there to try to kill Xploidz. Xploidz is going to go down. The quick revive is out. Double shots coming in left, right, and center. Demon's trying to pull up now as he has to come through the front of the steeple, but Kardia was there on the flank, and now there's a pinch happening. I'm not sure if the nades have been picked up just yet. I believe they might have been worried. There goes Toti, tried to pick him up. He gets chunked out, so I believe the frags will just be off of respawn, ladies and gentlemen. No frags on the map right now to worry about. But there is an Identivez to be concerned with if you're Purified.
You should be very concerned with Identivez, as he has not moved from this position, still being annoying. And what's beautiful about this is you see the cross. Toti almost got away. A revive will come through. The cross is there on the side. They should be able to get in cover and no issues whatsoever. Toti stays close on the hill. He knows with active in hand, he's not going to be able to get the kill, but he backed up Crack. He goes down. No one's going to be behind enemy lines to Purify, and they will win their fight at the stairs, taking down Identivez finally. Demon keeping the hill neutral with a blind fire over the top, a solid L trigger. He's going to allow his teammates to move in. That's a second kill. They're focusing on Gary as Xploidz can take him out, and that will be Rebel collecting time at this neutral hill. So far, so good for them.
Now you see Kardia up top, continuing to try to add shots onto multiple players, but from where you are, it's really hard to do anything because A, he's gonna get double pushed. B, his teammates don't have the help they really need to break into the hill. All they can do at this point is neutralize it. Identivez with a quick little meat shield has one more to worry about, but Kardia with a back A gets the kill. And now he has the chance to really help his teammates out. Crack is gonna go down. Holding on to the other 35 seconds will make it 130 to 70 or so, but it'll probably be 130 to 60 depending upon how long they actually stay there before trying to rotate over to that P4 area. It looks like Rebel already has one player set up in that direction, and they have the top middle forcing Purified to come through the heart of a possible defensive stand if they want to get over there. This is going to be a very interesting retake because you got 9 seconds on the frags, 30 seconds on the drop. They've got to be able to overtake the market side. They've already got one player playing off into the spawn. That'll be Crack. Unsure if he'll get any help. It looks like Purified's actually going to think twice about this and try to sneak in through the front door. They got to be very succinct with this, by the way. If they have any aimless or senseless movement, this is going to get shut down. There's going to be more time into the pocket of Rebel.
Yeah, they have to be very composed about how they move in and break this defensive setup. Every move has to be thought out, and they didn't clear the corner with Xploidz. They get the kill, but he put out a good amount of damage. Kardia can't go down, and he gets pressed. The 2 kills get cleaned up off the side, and that's going to be Rebel collecting on some more time with that team wipe. Only 2 deaths for Demon, 11 assists for him. He is playing absolutely out of his mind with the max damage in the lobby with 11,000. So far, so good for him as we're getting geared up for this next team fight. Crack being real sneaky. The flash didn't connect, but the pressure is still there as he gets the down, moves in, a solid L trigger, disengages, keeps his opponent thinking, and he rotates for next. Talk about being a nuisance.
I mean, yeah, and at this point, it doesn't matter if he were to stay in that fight or not. He might have gotten a kill, which would have caused him to spawn out anyway when he re-died. Because look at the way that Purified is still fighting over 18 seconds, ladies and gentlemen. Down by 120, fighting over 18 seconds. That is definitely something that you need to be concerned with if you're a fan of Purified or any of those players. Now they're going to be pushing into this next hill. Drop shot is going to be shot kind of right in the front of Xploidz, just trying to get a kill. Xploidz holding onto this corner. They get the call out that they're pushing up into this. Xploidz needs to get at least one of these kills to be able to flank out the other players.
Ooh.
Big L trigger over the top, but still goes down to Kardia. I love that kind of stout stand by Kardia. Identivez, he'll find Toti, bouncing around. He's going to try to get this cleanup, and he does get the cleanup, but he goes down. Just trying to make it a little bit easier for his teammates who are probably going to be rotating into this fight.
Yeah, he was bold in that fight, just like a stout. Now, when it comes down to it, he still needs to stay in his position. Kardia is in a great spot. He has this angle for Addvers. The heals neutralize. All 4 members of Rebel are in front of him. They connect with the flashes. They hop, but can they get it popping? Multiple downs come through. They find one. They get back into the hill. They're going to take the angle out wide. They're going to have Gary to deal with as well as Addvers. They're able to take down Kardia and Gary. Addvers was the first on the hit list. He's going to be back off the respawn with Toti. You see the Lancer fire from them, just trying to put themselves in good position for the squad. But Demon's angle has to be so annoying there from that spawn. And when Purified kind of sees that and they understand the task at hand for them to break that setup, it can be demoralizing with the way that they lost that previous fight and how they lost this one. That's a wipe. They got to give up this 30 seconds, Colin, and start thinking about the next set of hills.
230 to 73. This is just getting worse and worse as every moment passes. 20 seconds left. They bleed it all the way out to maybe 250 or so. You see Gary calling out that multiple players from Rebel are starting to push up those middle stairs toward the top middle steeple.
Oh, not going to connect.
Not going to get that drop shot to connect. I mean, it doesn't matter really. You push him back down the stairs, opening up your lane to take over the steeple and 2v1 the player across the map. Now you've got them coming through the front door. Even if you get flashed out here, you've still got the angles to try to get these downs. Maybe even convert these kills. Identivez is holding his ground with Lancer out because he knows his teammates have the steeple. Even if he misses that shot, they've still got the angles. I mean, Rebel can kind of have their way with this fight. And it's not like they need to be completely worried about what it is that Purified is doing. Rebel's allowed to overstay their welcome for a couple of hills just because of the score differential, Blaze. These are the situations where you are in trouble.
Yeah, no, these are the situations where, you have to play perfect because of the situation that your back's against the wall. You are down by over 100 points and you cannot lose any more big battles. But we're seeing a wolf pack from Rebel and the pressure from them. Xploidz just absolutely breathing down the neck of these Purified players. And at the end of the day, man, Rebel, solid team fight. This has been their map, and it's going to be hard for Purified to really get it back under their control. As we're in this team fight, multiple utility grenades tossed out, but it's Rebel getting first blood there on Toti. And we see the remaining players from Purified disengage, try to play for whatever time and spacing they have now that's left in this map. But you see Rebel, they do not let off the gas. They know exactly the plays that Purified is playing for, and they are not making it easy for them, even when it comes down to rotating for next.
You see with 282, 18 seconds left, they're trying to get to that next hill just to make life hard on them when that hill finally pops over there. Toti's going to go down. They're going to let him crawl around for just a moment, try to pull somebody out into a possible revive trap. Kardia in a 1v1. This is the spot I said he needed to be better in. It's him versus Demon. Bring around the Rosie, around this planter. Back A from Demon, gets a decent amount of damage. Kardia a little bit red now. Has to be concerned with getting ticked out. Every shot, every pellet that he hits is just that much greater, and Demon comes away with a 1v1 win. Those are the things that worried me about Kardia's ability to be able to perform for this Purified squad. Other end of the fight, Rebel does lose out on the front side. Crack is there with Identivez, but I think the respawns might be favorable for Purified as they have a couple of different lanes now to pick on these players trying to come to the front. Toti's going to go super wide on Demon. Gets the down. He has the kill. And it looks like Purified is not going to go down without a fight in this situation.
Yeah, they say we at least going to crack this 200-point mark and show that we shall not give up. And maps like this, when you're down, if you can just keep them close, hell, come back and win. As those type of victories compound through the Pro League, you're starting to get that confidence to be a championship caliber squad, a top 4 team, to be able to compete with the best. And it starts in Pro League matches like this, playing to the end, figuring out ways to win, and not just conceding in these difficult moments. But we see how Purified's thinking. This next battle on a rotation is going to be huge. I think that if they can win 2 big team fights, all right, and play their numbers, they can have themselves within 50 points of striking distance. But it starts now. The map gets split up into a 2v2 fashion. Toti with nades in his hand, and we're gonna get the conversion on the hill. They don't have much time to work with. His nade comes up short too as well. It gets him to the cover, but now what? He's stunned, he's pressed, the nade's in hand, but does he get it tossed out? He does not. He doesn't even get a kill when it takes his own life. The pressure on the flank doesn't come soon enough, and Rebel will take map number 1.
Such a long time in multiple hills where Rebel, they're keeping Purified at a distance from the hill. And it's so nice to see from Rebel after last night, after the way that United was able to break through a lot of the setups that Rebel was attempting to hold, to see Rebel kind of get into these hills and then elongate their time in the hill with just Lancer, snub fire, and then maybe some L triggers. Those are the things they needed to clean up, and they did just that against Purified. Purified, to me, there is a cause to pause for them simply because it seemed like they never really got their footing in any of these hills. They fought back in 2 hills toward the end of the match, but it almost doesn't matter because they were in that situation of 220 plus, 230 plus to maybe 120 at the time. You just don't have enough time to come back because you've got to bleed out every hill and you've got to be at every rotation. You got to be picture perfect. Kudos to Rebel for cleaning up their mistakes from last night, though.
Yeah, and that's why the first rotation hills are so important, okay? Especially at this level of gameplay. You find yourself down by 150 points, and we're getting towards that late game. It's hard to make that up, especially when your opponent can just rotate early for most of these hills and get set up. You really have to not only, win those team fights, but sometimes you got to push out and win a few individual fights as well. Just to get some good position on your map and take some fights with confidence to keep the depth staggered and keep players out of position for your squad. And so, it's a lot to do in those situations. And, Rebel, they look like they, had some essence of doing that, but, shoulda, coulda, woulda. It just was not enough. We're going to be heading on over towards Clocktower execution. I will also say, Colin, you know the man Bleach the Brain? He said I sound like Eddie Murphy from Donkey on Shrek. Can you concur? Can you concur on that one? Because I do like making waffles. You know,
I'm not going to confirm you sound exactly like Eddie Murphy, but I will say that when you said waffles right there, I thought it was a soundboard. That's all I'm saying.
I do like making waffles. I truly do. But that's all you're getting from me, Bleach. Okay.
Shout out to Bleach for Brains though. I actually before Pro League tonight, I got a chance to play with a couple of our super viewers. Woo Smoke was in my party. Bleach for Brains came through and played. BFL came through and played. It's one of those things that I love having people that watch Pro League.
Yeah,
we get to roll out a spawn together, and it's such a nice experience because it shows you that our community at the end of the day, the moniker is true, that it's not just you know, Gears friends, Gears fans, it's Gears fam for a reason. We love rolling out a spawn together on the same squad, taking down whoever might be across from us. So shout out to them one time. They're fantastic people, and they're always in chat for Pro League, and they're from the other side of the pond, so they're at least 5 to 6 hours ahead of us. So I mean, for me, I'm staring down the barrel of 8 o'clock. They're staring down the barrel of 1, 2 in the morning. They're still out here chatting it up.
Yeah, no, we love our EU Gears fans, and shout out to Bitter Lover as well. You know, wish I could have saw you at the rally event, but much love to you. But Colin, I got a bone to pick with you. Oh no, you playing Gears and you not calling me?
I don't have no schedule. I don't know your schedule.
I have no missed calls. Nothing at all. Like you're playing ranked with some of the Gears fam and the homies, and you ain't hitting my line. You ain't gonna. You don't even got me on. I don't even want to talk about it no more. Chat. We're about to head into Clocktower execution. All right, and when it comes down to it, we got two badass teams that's about to go at it, all right? It's Rebel versus Purified. And, you know, since Colin knows all the Clocktower execution strats that I've taught him over the years, Colin, why don't you break it down since you don't want to play Gears with me no more since you've outgrown me?
You gonna make me cry.
Since you've outgrown me and you don't call my line.
Oh, God, I'm gonna cry.
I thought we were like that, my guy.
Look, Blades, you can't do this to me because I got to cast over E United later. You can't put me in this kind of emotional state when I'm about to have to
you
cast over
You're going to lose me and Kenny in one day, all right? You're going to lose all of IBE in your life. But it's okay.
Sad. This is sad.
Oh my God.
I need a laptop to throw. I'll be back.
I've ran out of laptops, Colin, as we've known.
Right, I will throw it.
Yo, you are going to give production, oh my God, you're going to give them an aneurysm just because you just keep breaking tech all the time on stream. Oh, man. You know, hey, we're going to have to just get the GoFundMe for Colin on his laptop. But at the end of the day, man, you know, I will say this. Don't worry, I'll carry you anytime. Just hit my line, okay? I got you. You know, we'll make it happen. But at the end of the day, you know, I love you a lot, right?
This hurts my absolute heart. Like you don't get it, Blaze, because like every time I get a chance to play with anybody, like at all, I'm giddy as the first day of school for like a third grader. Like I'm so happy to just be there and see my friends. I'm just happy to be there. And the fact that I apparently missed out on the chance to play with you today, just, I don't want to say it ruined the whole thing because those people made it fantastic, but it's as close to being ruined as possible.
Well, hey, Colin, I will let you know I was working, so I was super busy. I was waist deep, and you know, with that being said, hey, you were all good, okay? Waist deep in work. And so don't worry, you get a pass today. But when it comes down to this Clocktower maps, we're not going to give either of these squads a pass because they know it's time to get into map number 2. You can't be losing any fire and steam from map number 1. Rebel, they absolutely set the pace of this series. After that loss in which they took yesterday to E United, up against this Purified squad, they know it is a must-win for them. And now I talked about these first 2 maps can kind of be a toss-up in a series. And, you know, Purified, they had to come away with one of these. I think that they can do this in 5. But even with that being said, they need a player to kind of really anchor on this Clocktower map and get things going for them in the right direction. And with that being said, you know, I'm going to have to lean on over there towards Toti when him playing like host spot in secondary area to make those right call outs. Also, on the flip end, you're going to see a lot of aggression from Rebel to play for that snipe. You have 3 to 4 talented snipers on this squad. The whole team can shoot with the weapon and they know how to play for it. So I see that being a part of, you know, Rebels kind of base strategy on this map with anyone who they play. But with that being said, if somebody can predict that against them, how do they want to counter against that? All right, we're about to find out here soon, Kyle.
I would actually love to see Rebel pull a page out of the Pittsburgh Knights playbook because of how well they did in the CQC all of map 1. I would really love to see them. I would really love to see them smoke out and push maybe too deep for that long shot every round. Force them to put Gary right up in their face. Force them to bring Toti right up into the long shot fight. You can smoke it out and get into the area to be able to take over that long shot. And think about the players you've got on your squad. You have built this team to be as electrifying as possible with power weapons. Now put them to use with a little bit of brain power. Steal the strat from the Knights. I don't even care. Steal the strategy from them.
And I'm gonna tell you what this Rebel team needs to do, right? And I ain't the coach, okay? But from even just looking at the makeup of them, like we said, play it aggressive to start every single time. And if you're winning these rounds, what you're going to force a team like Purified to do, and any team you play, is to play into your hand and meet you 50-50 at that snipe. If you have that type of foresight and that consistency, people will come to fight you, and that's when you show them that you have that second gear and you could bait those players into those 1v1 fights that they were kind of avoiding. Because if you guys are as good with the power weapons as we know you are, then eventually they're going to have to play into your game. And that's when you have the second level of your strategy, where you see in rounds 2 or 3 that, oh, they're going to match our aggression. I can see that guy not playing his same position, make the call out, you get on your back foot, Lancer, first down, back on aggressive, you win the round. But you have to, in order to do something like that and kind of be like the puppet master for your opponent, you have to be decisive on those strategies in the first 2 to 3 rounds in execution. Those are the most important rounds for taking control of that map and forcing your opponent to have to react to every strategy in which you send their way.
You got to think of it kind of like a boxing match. If you're going up against an opponent that loves the jab, they love to be able to keep you kind of at range and just kind of tag you up on the chin, the shoulder, really wear your body down. You've got to be able to inbox them. You got to cover up. You got to maybe take 1 or 2 little shots on the side shoulder just to get close enough to either chop away at the tree that is your opponent or maybe land a big uppercut for a knockout blow. You've got to be able to counter what it is they're throwing at you. And I think if Rebel throws that long shot play at them, I think what you see something out of Purify maybe do is a full smoke strat where they smoke out and just get their players into a position to maybe take a CQC fight. Looks like they're going to send Kardia to back pillar. I love that play call. He is a very good support player, but with flash out, all he's going to be able to do is flash back against the side of Rebel. Identivez went for the quick pick onto the long shot. They bring a 3rd player over there. They got 3 players from Rebel. They're all trapped up toward back.
No one
but
pressed.
None of them died.
No, you look at the positioning here. Gary was there for a second, but I think he took a lot of damage from Host and had to play passive. They want to move. It was on the ground the entire time. So they managed to get back there with it, but not for long. They walked into the trap, and that's the round for Rebel. So, Colin, I think I missed it there, but how was it? I think, did they just get down before they got the pickup and they just retreated?
Yeah, they just continued to roll back toward that back pillar. It was a safety net play for Rebel, where as soon as Rebel realized that they were going to get stunned with those flashbangs, they just started holding down and spamming A, trying to roll back towards safety, because what they were able to do was get to a position where they could get revive chains off and then basically just reset that initial fight and then go at it from that point forward with less utilities on the map to use. We come into round number 2. Xploidz needs to try to get up into that long shot a little bit quicker, maybe even try to body block for somebody, but they're going to get the long shot in his hands. They're going to back him all the way up to that back pillar. And once again, Identivez gets away with a revive, and Xploidz gives him the easiest escape route by picking up that first headshot. Addvers, good push by him. He's in a position now to try to pressure up onto these last few players from Rebel. Xploidz, he's going to roll down the stairs, but he's got all of the safety net in the world. Toti, he's going to get body shot for the down, and now it's Gary versus 3, and that is not a sight you'll want to see.
That is not a sight you want to see. I got to give Identivez some props there too as well, because he played that back lane with a lot of composure. You know, we saw him tucked in that left corner with a little right hand, and once he got that position, he never let up at all. And we're starting to see, you know, the boys of Purified having to kind of play up into the hands of Rebel like we had the foresight before. And the fight's not working out for them. Now, we'll see what they can do as it's a 4v4 up top. Xploidz is going to put his flash away, pull out the Lancer, but we do see Purified getting aggressive. Addvers moves up right away to get something started. Kardia still sitting back with his Lancer, and as we're kind of watching this, I don't know who has the makeup on this Purified team to just kind of have the confidence to go in there and stop that pickup every time, because it has to be the back pillar player, it has to be the secondary. So this is going to come down to the former Elevate members to really get in there and get that kill. Oh my.
Have to get in there, get kills, and I mean, when you put a lot of pressure on players to be able to get those initial kills, you make life that much harder. I love that play from Toti. He gets the little trap there onto Demon, gets the down and the kill on him, evens it up at 3 versus 3. But Identivez up top. He has to rotate over to his teammates as they've got a 2v2 on the opposite side of the map. Maybe a body shot could get it down. Identivez looking to try to catch one. Gary, he goes to the up and Identivez misses what should be a shot for him to just get at least a body shot. Nades on the flank, and they actually rebound right off of that. He kissed him off the glass like his name was Tim Duncan, and that is a Purified round.
Yeah, good job to the boys from Purified there. Even after losing Addvers, they were able to get themselves the nades and hold their ground. And we can also say, kind of reflecting on that one, Rebel was maybe a little bit too aggressive in certain situations after getting that first kill, because we saw him kind of got caught in that choke point as they were going down the stairs to clean up the remaining few kills. It didn't work out. And yeah, so we're about to head into the next round. And with that being said, Ace, do not play that game, because you will be plastered if you if you take a drink after any word I repeat. You've heard me more than anybody in the chat with the amount of gear streams you've been in. And we do not want to have to get you AA.
No, we do not. Poor Aces would have to be worried about that. But Gary and Kardia, they got to be worried about frag grenades, and now Xploidz with a long shot in hand. He's going to try to make these last few players from Purified worried about his ability to hit their heads. But that's going to be an Addvers last alive for his squad after a beautiful double kill and then the finishing touch. That was a beautiful round. They come away succinctly with their 3rd round on the board for Rebel.
All right. And so Rebel's game plan has been working out for them, and they knew that their aggression wasn't going to get matched for this night. And if it ain't broke, don't fix it until Purified can, possibly get 2 rounds back to back, because they haven't been able to do that one just yet. So this isn't a time for you to dig deep in your strat book. Just make the slight adjustments off this 4v4 initial to get that first kill. And you see they move up for the snipe. It gets into the hands of Xploidz, but they also move Identivez up as well to get some of these free kills. I love the revive there for him. And look at the composure. He's like, I will take off my own team's head if y'all don't get out my sight lines. Xploidz looking to get the first blood for his squad. We'll see if he can do it. Toti's going to go pick up those nades. He'll get trapped in by Crack. 3v3 up top. Gary, you can't shimmy like that, but you won't got no choice.
Try not to let your head poke out, a little bit of shoulder poke out. Body shot onto Kardia. Will they go in for the respawn? They're not going to be able to get the revive off either. I like that play from... I love that play, as a matter of fact, from Xploidz. I know a lot of players don't like it when they don't hit the headshot. What a turnaround. My man, the turn and burn of his life right there.
The teamwork from Rebel in that round. It was a great play. They get sniper, they back up, they trap the nades in, they give Xploidz about a minute to work with that weapon, not doing too much. And from there, you see Purified make some desperation plays, knowing that they can't sit back for too long. Someone has to do something, and that's where Xploidz found multiple opportunities to win that round for his team. We'll see if they can do it again, as he will be playing a back pillar with the flash in hand. We can tell he's going to be aggressive. He's going to up it. He's going to be able to get the pickup for free, and this should be a clean getaway. Once again, not stop, but you see Purified make the adjustment to take down Crack to get them a quick man advantage. But they need a little bit more, and I will say that they do have the nades to work with in Addvers' hand.
Xploidz up top, surveying any kind of real estate. Crack already down, 4v3 situation. Xploidz, he has to be careful of what might be flanking him, but he's going to rotate down. They're going to try to find an angle for him to be able to get a headshot onto somebody. There is a player inside of frag grenades, which if he had moved up any further, he could have gotten easily shot down upon. Gary trying to rotate across that back ledge. He's going to get shot. Addvers on the flank, misses the shot. Xploidz goes for a reload and maybe misses it there. He never actually took a shot at Addvers. It looks like he was trying to reload his Nasher. Now Identivez is caught between a rock and a hard place. Maybe even Dwayne Johnson up top, but nobody is strong enough to take him down. Demon, he evens up the odds. It's a 1v1. Kardia versus Demon. Demon with a torque bow in hand. This is a big spot for him to continue to be the muscle of his squad. Revving it up, looking to find that hip fire, won't be able to. Kardia in a 1v1 again. I put the onus on him to be better in these spots, Blaze. Kardia has to be better in the 1vs to give his team chances. Body shot onto him. Kardia now trying to angle up, goes for the up bait. Won't be able to find a big body shot, but he gets baited. He got baited into the up bait, hit him with a big sprint, takes him down. Demon gives Rebel their 5th round on the board.
Oh man, you can have all that damage in the world, but you gotta come away with those kills. And look, he's not even that weak. Oh, he was weak. He was about 40% there coming around that corner. And yeah, good solid shot. You see, he does the slide cancel, cuts back with the left-hand shot. Great plays from Demon. He knew he wasn't running away for too long in that fight. He took over. Because you can either take part or take over. It's Demon. He's going to take over the nade pit. He's going to toss one up. We'll see if... Oh, my! He cuts off Gary, but Gary isn't Lancer down. What a beautiful nade that was. I love the design, but in the end, it is going to be Purified with the sniper, but they will be down a man. Gary can't even it out, but he will have a few more opportunities. His next focus is to save his teammate. Can he?
Gary's gonna try to continue to rotate around this bottom side. They're keeping somebody on top of him. They're protecting the president right here. What they're doing is basically just making sure that if he goes down, somebody's there for the immediate revive. And that's a good strategy, especially when you're trying to keep the long shot in your possession. You see them continuing to rotate Gary around the bottom of the map. He's looking for these very long angles and very cheeky angles as well.
He needs to start challenging some fights. Getting a little cocky with this sniper, walking out into the open, seeing, you know, who wants to shoot him, who doesn't. He got 6 shots to work with. I don't think he's going to have time to shoot them all with the remaining seconds that are left in this clock. But he is going to find someone who does want to play ball for now. Toti moves up. That's a great body shot for him, but Toti wasn't able to get his kill, and that's the only opportunity in which he's going to get his teammate alive. That body shot missed. He's going to keep retreating. The blind fire can't connect, and he's going to get a chance at another shot. Oh, Rebel. They'll take map number 2 in a 6-1 fashion, and they will go up in this series 2-0. Definitely making a quick 180 from their performance last night, showing that it's levels to this. Demon, 6 kills, 2 deaths, 10 assists, and 11k damage. He was the most lethal player in the lobby. But with that being said, folks, don't go anywhere. We got Escalation Training Grounds coming up next, and we'll see if Purified can get this situation under control. Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to the Gears of War Pro League. We are midway between a match. It's Purified and Rebel, and so far, it's Rebel up 2-0. And if you guys thought the scoreboard wrong for a few seconds, you blame Hunter, okay? He was,
At Media by Hunter in Twitch chat, ladies and gentlemen, just in case you did not hear that, it is at Media by Hunter with an underscore at the end. MEDIABYHUNTER_.
Because we love nothing but perfection around here, and when you make little slip-ups like that, you get called out. But I digress, because I won't throw my own self under the bus. Anywho, we're headed into map number 3. It's Training Ground. Sorry, I'm wrong. I threw myself under the bus. It's Harbor, okay? We all make mistakes. You could blame Guy Blaze for that one. But on the flip end, Purified, how do you feel like their chances is going to be in this Harbor Escalation map against this Rebel team? Because, you know, I think when it comes down to it, this may be Rebel's 2nd best Escalation map out of the 3. Definitely top 2.
I will say that I believe Rebel, to me, they have a back pocket strategy that's, I would say, almost foolproof for this map. If round 1 doesn't go well, if round 2 doesn't go well, if you want to wait until you can get a shock on your side, whatever. At any given point, based on how execution just went and how the initial of Rebel went, I mean, the initial of control on Speyer went, where is my power weapon? Place down one singular point of interest, take advantage of the CQC, which is exactly what you were able to do in those first 2 maps. You can literally just pull that strat out of your back pocket at any given time if it's not going well for you.
Yeah, you really can for this Rebel team, because we just saw them for 7 rounds straight rush the scope and get it more times than not and be successful. We know they can do that exact same strategy top stern if they want to. They can do it center map if they want to as well, because they have the speed on that squad, but also the personnel for anyone to go off with these weapons. And they're excited for it, because there are players out there in the league where you give them a little bit extra in these rounds, they will go off. All right. And so Rebel, they got 4 of those members on their team. Now we'll see what they can do with that. So with that being said, Colin, does that mean that Purified, they need to be more decisive about how they want this map to get set up? Should they be avoiding that neutral line fight? Because if they avoid it too much, Rebel already knows what they got to do, but maybe they just need to take this head on and set it themselves.
I think what they've got to do if you're Purified is be extraordinarily good or be extraordinarily certain of your initial fight. One of those things that you can do is take over that winch fight early. If you're winning the winch fight, if you're Purified, you make that power weapon placement up at the stern a little bit more hesitant for Rebel, because of the fact that you're able to flank out. You're able to actually be able to get shots on. Right here, you're going to see Gary, and that's the thing that worries me. Gary pushed across by his lonesome, but look at the flank. Quick flank from the other side of the winch. That was Kardia. He's got the members of Rebel trapped between him and the rest of his team, and those are the little things that Purified could be able to do to be certain of winning this map. Ooh. But you can't do that. Can't do that.
Yeah, Identivez kind of knew what he was going to get out of that fight. He just had to take a step to the right, and then on a flip in, he got his kill, man. Kardia walked right into that shot. Ooh, Toti doesn't even make it. That's 2 down. Loving the angle here, as we will see 4 players start to converge on top of this A hill. They need to, because they just got the kills in which they need. They shouldn't waste any more time, and they will not. They need 1 down in this hill. Get some shots in on Gary, but now the respawns have finally came through. Rebel, they may have to disengage unless Identivez can go huge. And I think he will. He didn't tell his teammates to back up just yet. He picks up another kill. Here comes help. And Rebel is still in a great position to win this fight. They get the 1 down that they needed. Toti caught off guard. He got shot with 1 bullet, repositions, and he can't do anything else. 1 member left. Got to get through a meat shield and multiple stuns. He cannot. And Rebel will win round number 1.
And I just don't think that there's a chance really for Purified to really overwhelm Rebel at any given time. If you saw right there, they had the flank. They had everything in their necessary favor to win that winch fight. And then all of a sudden you saw the quick turn, the headshot chunk from a distance because of all the extra damage that was put in. I really just, the way that played out is disheartening for Purified. And Purified, as long as they're losing rounds, you're probably going to see them stay neutral with their weapon placements, which is just even more disheartening, because they need to probably come up with something to overwhelm Rebel. And I think that first round was their best bet, simply because of the fact that they had the chance, they had the flank, they had everything they needed.
Demon finally unstunned. Got 1 good shot in, but here's Kardia once again putting pressure on Identivez in his 1v1, trying to lead us into a solid 2v2 for his squad. He does a good job, but it's now still a 2v2 fight, and Kardia is going to be the focus. He backs down for a second. He makes it out for now, but it's a bait and switch as Gary disengages. Kardia needs to put the pressure back on. He will. Gary, he's going to get his life back. He resets the fight. 2 separate 1v1s, but Kardia backs down again. They're trying to get the bait and switch to work out perfectly, but neither can take over the fight in their 1v1s. And it's actually Rebel who is just their better teammates for each other there in that 2v2 fight. But then they'll come out on top at the stern. And now you got a hellfire coming down from the winch. These players at the B hill, is not much in which they can do. Identivez got them trapped in a corner. The revives are there, but in the end, it's just going to be more damage points, more carnage going over towards the side of Rebel. The 1v1 will be won at the home hill, and that buys a little bit more time for Purified to get back into this round.
I like the fact that Demon tried to buy as much time as he could by just kind of hanging out in the open of that hill. forcing somebody to play up into him, and that really just buys some of that extra time for him to get those kills. Identivez is about to get pushed by 3 different players. I love the angle right there. I believe it was Xploidz with an angle onto Toti. They get the kill onto him, which makes it a 2v2, at least for now, over here at the winch. Now a 2v1 is Xploidz. He gets a little bit of help, and he gets that kill. They're going to continue to push forward here because I don't believe Xploidz is going to wait for anybody else to tell him it's okay to go. He's going to fly at Kardia. And that's one of the things that these players from Purified have to be concerned with is there's almost a lack of respect from Rebel right now. Rebel doesn't fear any fight from Purified at all because of how this situation has gone or how these maps have gone up to this point.
And at a competitive level, when you are in this situation and you feel that you can still play freely and you don't have to respect your opponent's setups. And the reason why Rebel's probably feeling that way is that they can see the timing in the plays in which Purified is making, and they know that they're probably a step behind in the plays in which they should be trying to execute. And with that being said, that's giving Rebel confidence to stay aggressive and to keep playing for the win, because Purified isn't fortifying the way that they need to, making proper plays on Harbor. So Rebel, they're going to continue doing what they want as they have throughout the entirety of this series until somebody can step up and punch them right in the mouth.
And 2-0 down, Rebel 3 rounds away from a 3-0 victory. This has not looked well for Purified last night, and is definitely not looking well for them tonight. Retro Lancers are going to be built up on both sides of the map now. And I don't see this going any other way. I think Purified, yep, they're just going to stay with the neutral, and that it always concerns me with a team that's just losing and losing, convincingly, if that makes sense. It's simply because I don't know why you wouldn't try to change the fight up at all in any way, shape, or form. Even if all you did was put put something at B right now.
I think this Purified team, some players are going to have to reassess their play style and what they do for this squad. And because they're going to need some more Slayers and some more damage to get output at the forefront of some of these fights. And we'll see how that changes over these next few rounds. Great fight there from Addvers. Toti wide with the Lancer. He's going to keep cracking Identivez down. Their heads down, kind of trapped towards that corner, but they break out and they will find themselves an opening. One down came through. They can't get the kill clean up. Gary back in a 1v1. Identivez backed up for the rebuy, but Gary, he couldn't finish his fight in time. The Retro Lancer's doing a lot of damage. Addvers can't get the cleanup. You saw flank come through there from Xploidz, and it will be Rebel getting their home hill back, and they're trying to quickly get down to the B hill and get it capped up because they know no one's at winch. And Rebel, they'll be fortified and get the setup in which they want.
And they've got Kardia. Again, Kardia just out in the open, gets caught out with the Lancer, and then the snub from Identivez. He's going to get cleaned up. They're going to easily take this point lead back here any given moment now, and you can see them trying to set up for a possible triple cap domination.
Yeah, that's not Kardia, bro. That's Kardia. Man, Kardia don't make mistakes like that. Is it the same player? I don't know. I don't That's Kardia.
I'm gonna go ahead and say, why he changed his name from Kardia to Kardib?
No, but you do. Why?
He's not playing like an A player. He's playing more like a B or C player. So you can't be Kardia. You gotta be Kardib.
He can't be number 1, but he gonna play that support role the best that he can. He gonna be number 2 in that fight. But right now, Purified, they need a hitter, and we'll see if he can beat Kardia once again. With that being said. Damn, Ace is gonna be drunk by the end of the night if he keeps going out. Poor Ace. Now you got me thinking about it. Identivez rotating to the A hill. He gets the decap. Now Purified, they capture B. They're backing up for their home hill. Big 1v1 for Identivez. L trigger tight. That's a good shot. That's an even better one. He can keep the home hill.
And he's just waiting in the wings. I don't know why you push that in that situation. He's going to easily get that first shot like 80, 90% on you. So all he's got to do is hit a couple of pellets. And he's still holding. This is not his own home hill, by the way, ladies and gentlemen. That is the home hill of Purified that he was holding on to for that long. Now we'll see them move across the rest of the map, trying to get back into possession of multiple hills, as Rebel looks like they're going to set up for B. But beautiful spot here by Toti. He has that winch, which is so very crucial for his squad, as he'll be able to put Lancer shots going down to B at any given time to help out his teammates. There it is. The smoke is in front of him, but he doesn't even get the mark to be able to put shots there into the B hill.
Yeah, that was a great smoke. It turns this into a 2v2 fight on multiple sides of the map. It's still a win condition for Rebel. Here comes Gary. That's a big fight for him. Demon wins a battle against Addvers. Gary goes down. Toti goes down. And there's the lead change for Rebel. They don't let this one slip away. And they will continue their dominance over the last two maps. The rounds 9-1 in favor of Rebel. 2 more to go. Looking at the defeat, and it's pretty, the stats are pretty even across the board from Purified. It's so far a team loss for them. No one player we can kind of really pick out that really needs to kind of step it up, if you ask me. I know we talked a lot about, Kardia and some of those 1v1 engagements that we saw from him, but I think it's just a bigger issue overhead now. What that is, the coach on the squad gonna have to figure it out with him.
Blaze.
Here we go again.
What's up, dog?
Do you happen to know who's in charge of updating the commands?
Throwing blast grenade.
Because somebody just asked who the casters were today, and the command came back with reflections in Jacob.
I didn't know. Look, I'm a decent looking white guy, but I ain't as good looking as Taylor. I'll tell you that much.
Yeah, you know what? And I'm a decent looking brother, but when it comes down to POC, I think Jacob got me beat. But that's neither here nor there. I think, Jacob's swag is just on another level.
You saw the
chain
shades
game
last
on
night?
point.
Did you see them?
Bro, I saw it from top to bottom. I don't know what it is with Jacob. Every game I play with him, he like plus 10, plus 15. His KD been through the roof. He's just been on one lately, okay? He been putting money back in everybody's pocket in gears. He is just glowing.
He's a great gentleman, an even better man. It's a fan. Look, I'm jealous of Ruth at times. I'll tell you that much.
Boy, aren't we all?
We all should be anyway. 4 rounds in a row for Rebel, looking to get a 5-0 escalation win here and win 3-0 over Purified. And I hate to say it, but this is one of those situations where this is kind of what I expected from our first matchup of the night. And it seems like Rebel, this is Blaze, correct me if I'm wrong, but does this not seem like Rebel just doesn't have the respect for Purified that you think they might based on the fact that they're a pro league team, how they're taking these fights, how they're winning most of these fights?
I 100% agree with you. Purified has not done anything in the last 3 maps to deter Rebel from running away from a base mindset and say, hey guys, we need to switch it up and do something different. Nothing's been broke, okay? And if it ain't cracked, don't fix it. And with that being said,
there's Crack trying to roll back after hitting that big body shot. He's going to continue to stay alive for quite some time, finally being cleaned up by Toti down at the winch. This might be a glimmer of hope here in round number 5 as we move into the second half for the side of Purified, but Identivez still alive, gets a kill on Kardia, but now he has to worry about the other members of Purified rotating into these next positions.
Guys,
yeah, we do.
this isn't good.
You got to be worried about him.
Rebel is to the winch again.
Yeah, he just died like 5 seconds ago, already back into the fight. And now this is going to be a 2v2 battle at E. Toti's trying his best to take down Crack now before he gets reinforcements. Does a great job. Retreats. Couldn't get off the cover. He took some free damage there, but he still got the kill on Xploidz. Toti moves in, looking for the next. That's 3 for him. E-Hill Trip Cap domination goes in way of Purified, and they are finally on the board.
Finally got 1 round, and I guess that's how it has to start. You have to win 1 before you could win 5. So they've got that first win. They got to feel a little bit more confident in this E-Hill fight, especially with how well they did in the initial. They left him alive for quite some time. Coming into round number 6, still not going away from the standard placements of weapons.
If anything, it should have been around before they started building those secondaries. I can understand, you got to get the shock down, but finally, we do see a scope being placed, but that's on the side of Rebel because that was the first round in which they lost. From me, and they were able to set the pace of the match and force Purified to really kind of have to match their placements or get out of sync and give Rebel a slight advantage, and which would have been another advantage that they had on top of just the teamwork in which they're coming out with on their base strategy. Demon with a snipe, he backs up. Crack with a quick headshot. That's with the shotty. Identivez finds a kill. The last 2 members of of Purified are going to be down low at the home hill. E-hill will already be capped. The body shot doesn't connect there, but it doesn't matter. The second one comes through, and Rebel is going to be 20 toes deep into this hill. Make it 30. It's a team effort. Make it 40 as the whole squad. They're going to close it out as a unit. Rebel will take this in a 3-0 fashion, and they're going to give another loss to Purified.
Purified starting the Pro League off 0-2. Rebel, they'll move to 1-1 after a lackluster performance against the United. They bounce back like I believe they needed to be able to get a victory here and at least start kind of a campaign, show what they're capable of. They still need to be a little bit better in certain situations. Their team fire was fantastic in map number 1, which is what I thought was their biggest worrying point from last night against the United. But against Purified, it seems like they just kind of took the fights however they wished to, and it wasn't like they were ever really in a lot of trouble at any given point in time.
Nah, they didn't sweat. I don't think Rebel broke a sweat at all in this series, and it's unfortunate because I feel like when it came down to this Purified squad, that they got the pieces of the puzzle to be able to beat a squad like Rebel, but I think they really need to just polish out their play style a bit. If it's anything that I loved about that old Elevate roster was that it was a balance of the supporting cast with Kardia and Addvers, and then you had the slaying power of, I believe it was Xavi and Gary there. No, Xavi was on fire nice.
It was pushies. They had pushies last.
There you go. Yeah, you had Gary and pushies there that was getting a lot of those battles. And what we saw here from Purified is that they're kind of missing that firepower. If they get the first blood in a lot of these initiatives and they're able to set up, I think Purified would be one of the hardest teams to be able to break those setups on. Because when it comes down to their Lancer fire and their team fire, it can be the best. It's just not there yet.
And one of the things that you can do better if you're Purified as well is, as we saw toward that last round that they actually did come away with that 1-round victory in, was the fact that they were very quick to help one another. Just like Rebel needs to work on their team fire, I believe that we can see a lot better teamwork, a lot better single target firing from the side of Purified, simply because they would have the ability to get those downs a little bit quicker, get those kills a little bit easier, and not put so much damage on their teammates.
Yeah, it needs to be a lot easier, but it comes with time. It comes with practice, and this is just week number 1 of our Pro League. We got 4 more to go before we get geared up for that next major, and so still plenty of time to practice and get ready, all right? Colin, what you looking like that for? You guys just got something to say, or you just...
Sometimes you have to, hydrate.
You gotta hydrate, baby. I do.
You gotta hydrate.
So
I was leaning into your point, Blaze. I was see my man Blaze is hydrating himself. Beautiful tumbler there by the one and the only guy, Blaze. But even more beautiful than that tumbler is what we got coming up next, Blaze. And I think the people, they might be ready for this matchup.
I think they are. I got to refill this one, okay? So me and Colin, we got to take a break. And you guys at home, get hydrated as well. Get your snacks. Do what you got to do, because you don't want to miss this matchup of the night. It's United versus the Pittsburgh Knights. Right after this, don't go anywhere. It's going to be a banger.